My name is Charlie Forsman. I have been in the NFT space now for a little over a year. And I am the founder of an NFT project called Ragdollz. I'm joined here by James Flicek. He's a member of our marketing team, and he's going to kind of help guide the conversation tonight. We want to just get started with a little video from 1994. Just a little lighthearted video, add some well-needed humor here.
Very well done.
Back now 56 past, I wasn't prepared to translate that as I was doing that little tease.
Oh, that's
that little
right.
mark with the A and then the ring around it.
At.
See, that's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I've never heard it.
Around.
I've never heard it
About.
said. I'd always
That's
seen the
around.
mark, but never heard
Yeah.
it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
I heard you around. Big fight at the lunchroom the other
See,
week.
there it is. Violence at NBC. GE com. I mean,
What Allison should know.
what
do you
is
think
internet
that, Allison?
anyway?
Internet is that massive computer
Right.
network, the one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
Yeah, I mean, hey guys, I'm James. So we're probably gonna keep this pretty basic, and it's our first time kind of hosting this thing. So we'll do more in the future, hopefully. But yeah, basically we are living in that time for NFTs right now, and we're getting a lot of questions about what are they, how to buy them, which ones to buy, is it a scam, is it a fad? And so I just kind of wanted to help and kind of ask Charlie questions and guide the conversation a little bit. And I guess we could just start by going over what an NFT is, just in general.
Sure. So basically, an NFT stands for a non-fungible token. A non-fungible token is a unique, non-interchangeable unit of data stored on a digital ledger. Its current use case is mainly for digital assets like photography, digital art, and music. And it uses blockchain technology to establish a verified public proof of ownership. Okay.
And I think there's been a few reasons why they're catching on, or there's a little bit of a gold rush hype and hysteria around them. And I don't know if you want to touch on why that's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, so personally, I think the NFT technology is a disruptive technology because it's really the first time that the general public has been able to own a unique digital asset. And I think there's going to be future applications of NFT technology that are really going to be implemented into our everyday life. But I think a large reason for why there's so much attention around the NFT space right now is the amount of high price sales that have happened. So there's this artist his name is Beeple, and he's been designing a piece of digital art every day for the past 6,000 days, right? And initially he was giving his digital art away for free. He was letting anybody use it, and he would travel around and he would see his art being used commercially. And he really had no way to control this until this NFT technology came about, and people were for the first time able to own a piece of his digital art. And so at the beginning of this year, there was an insane sale of $69 million for a piece of Beeple's artwork. And that was an NFT.
And then I think some people are joined by just audio. So if you want to just kind of go over Ragdollz before we start doing screen sharing and showing people how to buy stuff with MetaMask. The reason I got involved with NFTs is I've known Charlie for a while, and was working on this project, and I loved the charity aspect, the artwork, and I had a connection to get us featured on a billboard in Times Square this past week at the NFT
Amazing,
convention.
that was
Yeah,
amazing.
which was really cool. But I kind of want you to talk about the Ragdoll story before we get into the actual tactics and process and software to buy your first NFT.
Sure, absolutely. So a long time ago, actually, my little sister drew me this character, and I kept that in my wallet for a long time. And as I got into the NFT space, I started buying digital art, and I became somewhat infatuated with the idea of owning a digital asset, and what type of applications that can have for our future. And so, as I was looking at this character, I was like, wow, this would make for an amazing digital character. And I wanted it to be something different. I wanted it to be something special. And so we created this project with the idea of spreading positivity in mind and giving back through charity. And it was really amazing how fast our community took off, and how many people were really interested in this idea. Given it was kind of at the height of this hype around NFTs, but some people really took to it. And so we came to this space with this in mind, and we donate $10,000 for every 1,000 ragdolls sold, and with 10,000 ragdolls available for sale, we have the potential to donate $100,000 just to charity. But throwing money at an issue isn't necessarily, it helps obviously, but it's not where we wanted to go with this project. We wanted to actually incentivize people to go out into the physical world and make somebody's day, even if by just saying hi to them and starting a conversation, right? And people started doing this because we incentivized them with these NFTs. We were giving them away for free to people who, if they did go out into the world enough times and they posted about it and they shared their stories with people about, doing good deeds in their own communities, we gave them free ragdolls. And so that's kind of what our project is about. There are other projects out there that have so many different use cases and utilities. For instance, there's a big one called Bored Ape Yacht Club, and there's a lot of owners of that NFT who are, it gives them access to an exclusive community. And recently I was in New York this past week for the NFT NYC conference. And that community held, special events for their holders where they were, there were special parties, they were going out, they hired insane DJs and all this stuff. And the only thing that you needed to get into these parties was a Bored Ape, so it was essentially a ticket into this exclusive party.
Yeah, and I think one of the main reasons I like Ragdollz is because it checks a lot of the boxes of the purpose of NFTs in the first place. So for someone who owns a Bored Ape, like Charlie was talking about, they'll often make it their Twitter profile picture, and it's used as a status symbol. It also gives them the community aspect, and there's also the investment aspect. And the industry right now is pretty heavily, a lot of the craze is kind of like the gold rush, and it's pretty dominated by people trying, a lot of get rich quick claims and things like that. And the funny thing is it actually is happening. But the reason why I think Ragdollz is so cool is because it's maintained the charity and community aspect, but there's definitely the aspect of making money, making returns, using it as a fun investment vehicle,
right?
Using it as a status symbol.
Yeah, and after a lot of these big sales happened, that that was the main kind of sentiment was, oh, I'm going to get in, I'm going to make all this money really quick, and some people have lost a lot of money really quick as well. But it's not even just that as a status symbol. It's people are starting to use these these avatars as a personality, and it's really interesting because it gives you a voice without somebody, seeing you for who you are. And that can be a lot of power, that can be pretty powerful in certain instances. People are talking about race, they're talking about gender. And when you use that avatar as your profile picture on Twitter, it gives you a voice outside of your physical being. It lets you express yourself in ways that you might not have been able to express yourself if someone saw you face to face and they already judge you. So, I think that's an incredibly powerful use case. And it's so early on that I think a digital future where people are interacting on Zoom calls, or if they're interacting in a metaverse as as Facebook is working towards now. I think they said they're going to spend $10 billion on a metaverse in the next, I don't even know how many years, but yeah, so they're working towards that. And people are going to be experiencing other people as these digital avatars, and again, it just gives people a voice without judging them for what they look like.
Should we show basically the steps and the software is needed if someone
Sure.
wants to get into the space, if they're new to it?
Absolutely.
If you want to share your screen.
So the space right now is largely transacted on on MetaMask, which is a cryptocurrency wallet. There are other websites, for instance, this one called Nifty Gateway, where you can buy using normal currency. But for most projects, they are using the Ethereum blockchain. So in order to buy an NFT, you need to use a wallet with Ethereum in it. So for instance, Ragdollz we're on the Ethereum blockchain. So the only way to buy a Ragdoll is to use Ethereum. So what you do is you go to this website called metamask.io. You download MetaMask, and it's actually an extension, so you won't get an application. But once you have that downloaded, it shows up right here. See this little puzzle piece right here? Can you see that?
Yep.
So once we click on this puzzle piece, you see that MetaMask has now become an extension of your Google Chrome, right? And so if you click on MetaMask, so this becomes your wallet, right? This is essentially your crypto wallet. Right here, this is your wallet address. So if anybody ever wanted to send you money or send you, any sort of cryptocurrency, you give them this address, and then you can.
So you're like a account and routing number, basically, for crypto.
Exactly. And so you can buy right here on MetaMask using, either Transact or Wire. I personally use Coinbase, which I'm sure a lot of people might be familiar with, but it's a very straightforward banking application. It's essentially like a banking application that you can download on your phone. Very simple to buy Ethereum, and I send my Ethereum from Coinbase into my MetaMask account, right? And that would come up right here. And so when you go to our website, for instance, Ragdollz, you'll have the option to connect a wallet. It'll come up right over here. It'll say connect a wallet. You click on that. This will pop down. It would pop down automatically if you clicked it. And then it'll ask you, do you want to connect your MetaMask to this website? And it would come up with a little button right here, and you just sign, and then it's connected to the Ragdollz website. MetaMask also, it kind of operates as a passport to all of these NFT projects. So for instance, if I go to OpenSea here, This is one of the main secondary markets for NFTs. And right up here, you see you have this little wallet, right? And you can connect your wallet right there to OpenSea, and then you can start browsing around and looking for NFTs that you like. And this is where you can transact on an NFT. So for instance, here's the one I was talking about earlier, Bored Ape Yacht Club. And it'll show you, what the current price is for this specific NFT.
Just as an example, show some like expensive ones. Yeah, like this one right here.
And this is one of the cheapest Bored Apes right now. So this Bored Ape is currently listed for 31 Ethereum, which is close to $150,000. And there are other incredibly expensive NFTs. Another one is called CryptoPunks. The reason CryptoPunks is so expensive is because it was the first generative project out of 10,000 in which a lot of other projects modeled their projects after. And these sell for, I don't even know. I think they're probably the cheapest ones are about 100 Ethereum right now, which is close to $500,000. But imagine owning the first piece of artwork ever. This is what people are thinking of right now when they're buying these CryptoPunks. This was the first generative NFT project ever, and it's the first time in history that you'll be able to buy something for the first time, like the very first NFT project, right? And I think that's part of why the prices have inflated so much on specific projects like this and Bored Apes and others. But newer projects are starting to lean more towards this basis of community and utility and what buying that NFT has to offer its owner and its community in general.
Cool. So as this kind of being our first talk, we're also trying to get a gauge on what people are interested, what they're not interested in. And so we do want people to probably ask questions, and then in future talks, we'll have a better idea of what to cover along with answering questions right now. So if anyone has a question.
Yeah, I think James has a question. You can move different, you can transact on different cryptocurrencies. So you can convert, can you do it on Coinbase? You can convert cryptocurrencies into other cryptocurrencies, but you need to use a second party website like Sushi Swap, or there's a few other ones. Other than that, I think the only way that I would know how to do it is to sell the Litecoin and then repurchase Ethereum. But if you do transfer your Litecoin into this MetaMask application, that's your passport, and you can connect that to other swap websites, which will let you swap Litecoin for Ethereum. I have another question here. How do you know the exchange rate, so to speak? How many dollars to an Ethereum? There are websites. So there's like CoinMarketCap that is constantly being updated, and will let you know the price of Ethereum, I think down to, maybe, I don't even know, like 30 seconds or so. It is always fluctuating. It's based on people selling and people buying. So I can't give you an exact answer as to, what influences that price, but I think it is based on, that demand. Can you display my NFT? Can you display your NFTs in your home? Absolutely. Again, it's either a JPEG or it's an MP4, so it's something you can easily hook up to a digital display, or even your TV, your computer, really any screen. For instance, you would be able to, plug in a USB drive, or, you could Apple AirPlay it to your TV. How do people choose which cryptocurrency to use? So the way I like to think about it, and I've heard this before somewhere, and I've just been using it, but Bitcoin is like the gold of of the current, you know, it's the gold currency, and Ethereum is more like oil, you know, like oil has so many use cases, and I mean, I don't even know how to describe that, but it's more
just the
like,
most frequently transacted on the largest marketplaces. And Bitcoin is just a higher barrier to entry because it's worth between like 60 and 70,000 to get a single coin, even
Right.
though you can buy fractional coins.
and it's more of just a currency, whereas Ethereum is, you know, it's layer one, but there are so many layer two, you know, coins and things built on the Ethereum network. So it's essentially the building blocks for a lot of other cryptocurrencies. I have, how do I make one of my ragdolls a profile? Do you upload it like a picture? Yep, it's just like a picture. You know, you can upload that to your profile, you know, wherever your profile picture is on you know, Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media platform you choose. What is your argument against the scene being over flooded? I get the rarity and history behind CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club. However, now there seems to be so many digital art NFTs. Do you look at this as an investment or more of an opportunity to own something aesthetically pleasing and help charity along with it? Yeah, I do, you know, I get that the market is being oversaturated now with so many different projects. I personally think a lot of them are really shitty, and they're somewhat of a ripoff. But you know, you have to use your better judgment. You can tell, I think you can tell what's gonna last, right? If you look at the team, you look at the art, and you look at the utility and the community, I think it's very easy to tell what's gonna make it and what's not. You know, that there are obviously a lot of people out there launching NFT projects to make a quick buck. But you know, I think you can see through that for sure.
Yeah, I also, for Kyle's question, it's also a lot like if you're looking at the .com era, there was a lot of companies with really no infrastructure that just purchased a domain and raised millions of dollars versus something like eBay or Amazon that stood the test of time. So that comes from basically doing your research on what the projects are doing, partly whether you like them, partly the team behind it and the team's roadmap. So I would think that the market isn't fully oversaturated. I would just say it depends on the use case, and there's going to be a lot of winners and losers, but NFT technology will be here to stay.
Yep, I agree. Do we have any more questions? And you know, to that point, you know, as an investment, NFTs as an investment, it's tough to say right now. You know, again, doing the research and looking into those projects is one thing, but I think finding something you like is really the main point in buying an NFT. I think, you know, a lot of the stuff that I started buying early on, I bought it because I liked it. I never bought anything because I knew it was going to go, you know, 10x in value. I really didn't. And I'm still holding a lot of these things, you know, because I like them, and I believe in the artists, and it's just, I don't know. I think it's all very interesting, and you know, I'm not one of those people who bought early on to flip. I bought things because I like them. We got another question here. Once you buy an NFT, does its value go up and down with the currency? Yes, absolutely. You know, I think a lot of people think in dollars. I've I've recently started to think in ETH when I'm in the NFT space, which can be a little bit dangerous. But yeah, I think there are a lot of people who still think in dollars. So, you know, if something is listed, let's say at, you know, 1 Ethereum, which when we launched Ragdollz in September, 1 Ethereum it was about $3,000, right? So now Ethereum has gone up to, I think, $4,700. So, you know, if you were going to go buy a Ragdollz off our website now, it would be, you know, it would cost $470 to buy one versus $300 back when, you know, when we launched. And currently the creation process of a new Ragdoll has been paused. So we are, you know, we are taking that into consideration for relaunching the project. And it will be lower. You know, we want to create a lower barrier to entry for the project so that we can sell all 10,000 Ragdolls. We can have more people be a part of this community.
If you choose to buy a Ragdoll, do you pick one? You can pick one that's already been minted from OpenSea, that exchange we showed you. But if you buy one from the website, it is randomized, and then there's different levels of rarity. The music question, I think, is really interesting because there's a few use cases for just music. One is selling ownership to audio. And then the other one, which we heard a lot about at the conference this past week, is actually artists cutting the label out of their funding. So instead of taking a signing bonus and then the record label owning 80% of the rights to everything you do, an artist could actually sell an NFT upfront to fund their career or their tour, and the NFT owners could then be part of the royalty share. So a lot of big record labels and stuff are looking into how to do this, but a lot of artists are trying to cut big record labels out, which I think is a crazy use for NFTs and why it's going to be pretty disruptive.
Yeah, and to your point, your holders or the owners of that NFT then become a strong force of marketing for you. You know, if you own a share of whatever song that is, if you own a share with an NFT, you know, you then have an interest in making that song as popular as possible because you're going to make money on it. So let's say you release an NFT to 1,000 people, immediately those 1,000 people become a strong source of marketing for you. So we have another one. How do you do due diligence on NFTs? Is there such a thing as an NFT ETF? What do you think?
I'm not aware of a fund that lets you invest in like a group of NFTs, but I wouldn't be surprised if they either do exist or will exist.
Right. There are cryptocurrency DAOs, which represent it's a decentralized autonomous organization in which you know, you can pool your money for certain reasons. For instance, I'm in this DAO. It's called Klima, Klima, and their goal is to buy carbon offsets. So they're buying as many carbon offsets as they can to try and help drive up the price of carbon offsets. You know, for instance, when large corporations go over their carbon emissions for whatever any given period of time, you know, they have to buy carbon offsets. And so what this company aims to do is to pool enough money to drive up the price of, you know, said carbon offsets. So that, you know, there are interesting cryptocurrency applications that I think you can look into, but I'm not sure necessarily about the NFT applications yet. Do buyers, in your opinion, want to buy an NFT, use it as a stock, sell it and convert it to cash, or are they keeping it in ETH after they sell? That's a great question. It depends how much you believe in ETH. You know, I personally have kept everything in ETH, and it's been, you know, it's been great. You know, that can obviously turn and go the other way, but you know, we've gone from, you know, since September, ETH I think was, you know, went down to 3,000, maybe even below 3,000, went down to 2,500 at some point, and now we're up over, $4,500 per ETH. And I think there are price predictions out there for, and first of all, none of this is financial advice. I'm not licensed at all in any of this. Like, if you're going to go out there, do all of your due diligence. Don't take anything that I'm saying right now as financial advice, because it's not. But there are price predictions. There are price predictions.
Goldman Sachs came out like 5 days or 6 days ago saying they think Ethereum will hit 8,000 by the end of the year. Yeah. So that's like doubling pretty quickly. Again, that's just that's one source. Some people may say it's credible. Charlie and I are definitely big into holding Ethereum.
All right, so there's a lot of questions here. Let's try and get through them. What projects have you been following in recent weeks? Has anything been of special interest? Lower price threshold to encourage a higher participation. I've been personally watching a project done by Artifact Studios. It's like RTKFT, Artifact Studios. And they're launching a project called CloneX that I think a lot of people have been paying attention to, especially in the crypto Twitter and the NFT community space. So that's one to look out for. Again, don't take my advice, look into it for yourself. Is there any advantage to hold more than one Ragdollz in the long run? That's a great question. Without giving too much away, I will say yes. I like Ragdollz. They're too cute. I love that. That's great. My sister is very creative, combined with some of my creativity. Yes, they are very cute. I agree. So the way some sneakers sell for $1 million at auction, and old school thinking doesn't understand that, but they really are the new baseball cards. Is it like that for NFTs? Where many just don't understand why. Yes, exactly. So the CryptoPunks project, our project, the Bored Ape project, and many more projects, they're all collectibles projects, so each NFT, each character has its own rarity, right? Just like, whatever, holographic Pokemon cards that were first edition are way more rare than something that, was just a common Pokemon card. Now these things are selling for, again, these things are selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think that's a little bit based on nostalgia and a lot of those kids, me being one of them growing up. But yeah, baseball cards as well. It's all based on the rarity. And I think that's where the value comes in for each individual project. I think there's crypto ETFs and art investment funds. So I bet it's a matter of time. Yes. It's all a matter of time. These things are going to start popping up left and right. And it's going to happen quick. It's going to happen really quick. I know so many people, and I've had a lot of conversations and especially in the past 2 months, with people who are doing incredibly innovative things with this technology. The music aspect is super interesting. What is the benefit? What is the benefit for NFTs in gaming? That's a great question. So the gaming cosmetics industry is a $70 billion per year industry. And what I mean by gaming cosmetics is, for instance, I'm sure everybody out there knows a kid between the ages of like 10 and 19, but they play Minecraft, they play Fortnite, they play these games, on their phone, on the computer, whatever. But you can actually buy an outfit in this game, right? So for instance, if I wanted to buy, let's say like a chicken outfit, it would cost me $20 to buy a chicken outfit. And that's a $70 billion industry per year. So now what happens when you apply NFT technology to this, this space where now, these kids can openly trade and sell their gaming cosmetics. And the larger corporations can take 10% of every sale. That's what's so interesting about this. And then all of a sudden, these kids can, based on rarity of these certain cosmetics, they can sell them for tons of money. because they're rare, or it's a limited edition, whatever, you know. And then all of a sudden that opens up an entire other revenue stream for large corporations, especially in the gaming industry. So that's a great question, and that's going to be, I think, the next, you know, large frontier for the NFT space. Bankless is a great resource for learning about Ethereum, ETH, NFTs, and all things crypto. Cool, thanks. We'll have to check that out. All right, I'm gonna give it maybe one more minute for any other questions, and then I think we'll call it. It's been great. You know, I think James and I are going to start to do these talks more and more. We'll get more in depth. This was just kind of an introduction to the space. When I sent this link out, I got a lot of confused responses. Some people asking, you know, what are NFTs? You know, what even is this? Can you explain? And, you know, since I launched my project back in September, I've been getting an increasing amount of people reaching out to me and asking if I can explain what NFTs are, and you know, do you have some time to go over all this stuff with me? Which I've done. I've sat down with everyone. I love talking about this stuff because I find it so interesting. So yeah, we're gonna try to set aside some time, and you know, maybe once a week to just do these little discussions. Anyway, we really appreciate everyone when hopping on. And good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.